And then fourthly, there's the suffering hands of Jesus. And this is the thing we will be most impressed with when we see him in heaven. Because you see, when we get to heaven, we're going to find that his hands suffered when they drove those nails in. And then when they picked him up and hung him between heaven and earth, and the terrible jolt that tore his hands. And the wound was so great that Thomas could put his own hands in those holes. And Jesus will wear those scars for eternity. And when I look at the cross, I see at least three things. I see sin. The most sinful place in the history of the world is the cross. Jesus became the most sinful man that ever lived. You know why? The scripture says he became sin for us. He had never known sin. All of a sudden, he not only had the sins of the people of that generation, but he had the sins of all mankind. Every person that will ever live, he had the sins on him. He became guilty of every single sin. Think of a person that had never sinned, and all of a sudden, every sin he's guilty of. His suffering was 10,000 times worse than that of the average man who would be crucified. He was suffering spiritually when he cried, my God, why hast thou forsaken me?" The suffering hands of Jesus. I see sin, but I also see something else on the cross. I see the love of God. I can't